Last but not least, if you are here today with us, there's one thing you saw was all these guys from the team of the Cytactic wearing the Cytactic shirts. There's one secret about Cytactic. The best thing we have at Cytactic is the people. Technology, everybody can develop technology. Methodology, everybody can build technology. People like we have in Cytactic, there's no in other company in the world. Trust me, the best team ever. And we're so lucky to have Omer Bejerano, our head of customer success and professional services, to lead the last panel and actually talking about the human factor of cyber crisis management.
Thank you for the introduction. Dana, Moshe, Eli, and Sara, do you care to join? Hello, everyone. So maybe we will start with a short, like two sentences about yourself. Eli, you want to start? Sure. Yeah.
Hi. So I'm Eli Zilberman-Caspi, crisis manager, cyber crisis manager. I've managed some of the most complex crises that have been here in Israel, at least, and some of them in the world. Some of them we are talking about them this morning.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Sara. I'm a CISO in Gillat satellite network, Tirat by Tnuva, and a member of the Intensity Global Group.
Hello everyone, my name is Dana Toren. I am the head of the Israeli CERT, the operational department of the Israeli National Cyber Directorate.
Hi everybody, I'm Moshe Karako. I'm the CTO of Innovation Lab of NTT.
Thank you. So I think that we saw the human factor in every lecture and talk that we had today, especially during the tabletop exercise, but also Shai talked about it in his talk, and obviously Monte Crystal. And I want to start with the first question, maybe to you, Eli. If you can tell us about a crisis where human error turned out to be good, bad, funny, or embarrassing.
Okay.
As an experienced cyber crisis manager.
Okay, so I'll focus on embarrassing. During a crisis, we had a situation in which one of the lead IT persons asked for a raise during a cyber incident, and not only for a raise, but also to change his desk. And funny enough, he got it, and even down the line, he stayed in the company for a few years there.
Interesting. I don't know if it's funny or sad, but interesting.
So, an amusing story that happened to me. It's not about a human error, but it's more about the human side in the managing of cyber crisis. It took place on Thursday night. I went out with a few friends to a bar to drink and have fun. While I'm quite happy, I received a phone call that reported a cyber crisis. Who is in the field of supply chain? Who has remembered the 3.6 vulnerability in the 3.6 telephone company? And a hacker group attacked the website and replaced the update file that provided to customers with a virus file. And actually, all the organizations that download the update file actually download the virus. So on one the organization, when I served as a CISO, they used the 3.6 services. Despite my head is spinning from the alcohol, it's embarrassing a lot.
I thought that's for an embarrassing story, so it's fine.
I thought to myself to snap into control, and I issued instructions to scan the endpoints in the organization to understand, to make some summarize and sizing how many endpoints, infected endpoints that we have in the organization, to isolate them from the network and to scan the rest of the network. And also to, after that, when given the fact that we don't have any damage, to remove the hard disk and to make deeper investigations. And after that, to close the events, but the cyber crisis, the event. But as an amusing moment to manage cyber crisis under influence of alcohol.
Thank you.
So 2 years ago, we managed the cyber crisis in a big IT company. And the attacker infiltrated the network and spread to something like 30 customers. And when we came to the company and asked the CEO, he said, listen, I have many security systems, I have MFA, I have a very strong password policy, and I don't know how it could be, but when we started the IR investigation, we found out that the infiltrate vector was a station of a user that used 4-0 password and without 2FA. And when we asked the CISO how could it be, he said that this station is it belongs to his ex-wife. Yeah, and they're in a divorce process, which goes badly, and he cannot enforce her to change her password or to use 2FA because he doesn't want to make her upset. Okay, so until today I didn't decide if this is embarrassing or stupid or even smart.
I have a story that is not as amusing as those stories are, but is more about scale. So Entity is a global Fortune 100 company, and some of our projects are very, very large. One of them was the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020, that actually happens a few years later. And we built a huge SOC for that event, like more than 100 people on site, prepare for that for more than 6 months. And during the event itself, we realized, analysis after the event itself, but during the event also, we realized that we are dealing with the most attacked event in the history of humankind. We had 450 million attempts to break in. I assume that the next one is going to be the Olympics in France. Is going to be the largest one that will break that record. But the thing is that I think that the major factor that we didn't got breached in a way that actually someone noticed. Okay, we're aware of those attacks, but nothing was really breached, was because of the human factor, the fact that we were preparing with some Israeli companies, some of them are here in the crowd, helping us, ramping those capabilities to the human factor. So it actually turned out good, not bad. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. And I'm curious, because of your role, I think that the next question, maybe you can start. We can start with you. I wanted to ask, what critical role does the human factor play in crisis resolution process, and where can it be replaced with automation and AI? We see this conversation in not just in cyber crisis management, but we see it also in the legal profession, in other professions as well. And I'm curious, what do you think about that?
So that's a very interesting debate, and most of the people I know say the human factor is critical. I will be maybe the devil's advocate for that. I think that automation, and specifically machine learning and AI, can bring the real change to that area. Because as much as we are ingenious, we're creative, we are all very talented people, the number of information, the level of expertise that is required is always increasing. Especially in companies like NTT that I can tell you, the attack surface is infinite. Okay? We are too large to manage what we have. And only automation, specifically AI, will make the difference. But we're here to talk about the human factor. So the human factor is, as some of the CISOs that were here before me, is preparing, is building the ground, selecting the solutions, evaluate the solution, simulate everything, and actually prepare the system. But eventually, we need to count on technology.
So I think that there are several places in which human factor is critical and cannot be replaced by automation. I will give two examples: the personal relationships and the decision making. Okay, regarding the personal relationships aspect, automation and AI are great, but a crisis manager, only the human factor can bring an empathy to the situation. A crisis management affects not only the organizational processes, but also the mental and the behavioral of everyone who involved. So only the human factor can understand the people, can understand the organizational culture. It can relieve stress. And regarding the other aspect of the decision making, so automation can understand the data and can bring insights. But in the end of the day, only the human factor can make the call.
Thank you.
Actually, I agree with you, Dana. As for today, my opinion, AI tool cannot replace people in managing cyber crisis. They have a huge impact in the quick analysis or support, technical support, but right now in the managerial level, we are not there, and maybe in the future. But right now, the human impact that we have, it's the knowledge about, it's be familiar with the sector and the organization, the departments, the people, the interests, the culture. And this is something that AI for today cannot replace human resources.
As I see it, there are some aspects that we're using AI during crisis management, mostly when we are crafting messages and things like that. But for now, and this field is changing every moment, for now, the place of understanding the human factor is essential, and this is something that I don't see that is going to be done by a machine. We need to understand that during a cyber incident, there is a lot of uncertainty. And what we as crisis managers need to do, we need to understand it and to understand the needs of the various players in the situation. And this is a very complex situation. For example, the IT team just was breached. They have a major role in the fact that the company now is in a crisis. And at the same time, we need them to be at their best right now. And we had situations in which critical IT people, they had panic attacks and they disappeared for half a day. And this is because they suffered from anxiety. They didn't know what is going to happen. in these cases, we are talking with the leadership, and we're saying, okay, you need to understand what is going on with the humans behind the titles, and you need to come to them and to say, it happens to everybody, and we will work together, and we will build better cybersecurity now and in the future, and we're going to do it together.
How often do you work as a cyber crisis manager with the HR department?
A lot of times, actually, one of the most interesting things that is happening during a crisis is the organizational structure is changing a bit, because you have the leadership which is leading the crisis. Most of the times it's a very small team, and all the managers, the middle management and the employees, they don't know what is happening. And what we are doing in Konfidas as crisis managers, we are working with the leadership team, and we are encouraging them to empower middle management and to get them into the crisis in the way they can, but giving them the information a little bit before, talking with them separately, giving them a role in order for the organization to come out from the crisis as a winning team. And the managers, once they hear the leadership and they understand that their role is, maybe they don't have the tools right now to do the forensics, but they can deal with the uncertainty of the employees, and they can be somebody that they feel valuable in the crisis. And this is very important.
Thank you. I will also give my perspective about that, for example, in Cytactic, as you saw in the tabletop exercise that we did earlier, that even us in the platform, we have the decision support tools, but we're not trying to replace the human factor here. Whether we're deciding to approach the media proactively, whether do we want to disclose the incident to the regulators, even when we're doing this in a technological way, we're trying to support the human factor. We're not trying to replace it, because as you all mentioned, the human factor is still the most important here. And I would like to proceed to my next question. How do technological advancement influence the human aspect of cyber crisis management, and what emerging technologies do you see as most meaningful? Moshe?
Tabletop simulation that you mentioned, it's super critical, because we need to train the people to react and understand how people react. And the way we do that is that we simulate and we practice, because we want to build a skill with the people. We want people to react from the muscles. And we can do that only by practicing. So technology comes because it creates a lot of scenarios today. There are a lot of solutions like yourselves that can help us train. We also are using real breach simulation. That means all kind of cyber simulators or sandboxes, or all kind of emulations of real scenarios that we can interact with. Some of them are specially built for that purpose. And we simulate real scenarios that really happened with real information, and we see how people react. And we do that across different teams. Sometimes as a closed team, that means see how a specific team in a specific geographical location in a specific vertical walking, and sometimes we try to raise it a little bit on more higher level on the company side. But basically most breaches are very local, and they need to be handled very local. So we need to train each and every local team on handling this kind of thing.
So there are many emerging technological that can assist in crisis management, but if I need to pick one, so as Moshe just mentioned, I believe that it will be the fact that they can test the people, all the individuals that will be involved in the cyber crisis management, and this is how they will come prepared to the day it happens.
Thank you.
My opinion, the most important thing for me as a CISO, it's the rapid report. So technology give us also reports and conduct us professional review and achieve high visibility. And when we have a rapid report, it's minimized the incident much better, and yeah, so visibility and professional review and quick analysis and fast review.
Using AI for building scenarios for tabletop simulations. As I mentioned before, uncertainty is the most critical factor that we are trying to reduce when we are preparing a organization to a cyber crisis. And doing a tabletop simulation, in a good one, it means that the participants are feeling it here in the stomach. They don't only understand what is going to happen, but they feel the fear. And sometimes they feel the fear of how they are not prepared enough. And this is a drive to drive a change. This is the reason that in Konfidas we are putting a lot of efforts in this direction. But during a crisis, I think that collaborative tools are key. I saw the platform, Cytactic's platform, and I think this is exactly the thing, to collaborate. And I think that once everybody are on the same page, it reduces anxiety. They know what is happening, and once everybody is aligned, you spend less energy dealing with these inalignments.
Thank you. I think that we're about to finish, but for my last question, if you can answer shortly, how do you balance the technical and the human elements of cyber crisis management? You can start.
I think that if I'm continuing with the last example, the thing is, the whole crisis is around this question, because the crisis is a combination of technical issues, but humans are managing the situation and are suffering from the situation. In this perspective, the art is to combine between the technical elements and the human elements. And only once you combine it and you dealing with it from these two aspects, you can really go forward and succeed and to manage successfully the cyber crisis.
So from my perspective, the decision here is quite clear. It's like asking what is the balance between musicians and the instruments, because musician without instruments cannot play, and instruments without musicians cannot make music. So, like that, cybersecurity tools without correct human configuration. This is the same thing, because what good is a firewall if we don't have some correct configuration, the correct ports closed or blocked, and what good is a defender if no one handles the events? From the other hand, what will the CISO do without tools that report of potential events? And what is the SOC team, for example, do without logs from the organization systems and tools? So I agree with you.
I believe that I would establish a dedicated task force for crisis management. It can include the technological teams like threat intelligence and incident response, and it also will include the spokesman and the legal department. And of course that I will implement in the organization a very detailed business continuity plan that will define all the activities and all the responsibilities of each and every one of them. And I believe that it can also reduce all the conflicts and the ego during crisis management.
So first, all of those answers are great. I have very little to add of those, but I'm mainly dividing this balance between different stages, because there's a preparation, there's a detection, and there's a response. So detection heavily relies on machinery and automation and so on. Preparation is based also on threat intelligence and other things, but a lot of training of the human factor. But eventually the response will always be the human factor. So it's a balance. It changes across stages of the incident. And we need to improve or tune each and every one of those parameters along the stages.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for coming to this and join this panel. Thank you.
So, thank you everybody for joining us for the third year for the annual conference on cyber crisis management and readiness as part of the Cyber Week. We're so proud to partner with the Cyber Week and produce this content. Together with our partners, many of them presented today or participated today. Thank you so much for your participation, and we hope to see you when you're getting ready and prepared for a crisis and not at the time of a crisis. And last thing, I want to thank the Cytactic team, the incredible team led by Yoni Schmitz, actually, that led all the preparation for this conference. Thank you so much, Yoni, for putting the conference, and all the team members from Cytactic for participating and organizing this event. Thank you very much. See you next year.